So one of the things I wanted to talk about today was a list of things that you shouldn't buy with your money if you want to be rich in the beginning. You know, there's nothing wrong with having these things later on, but when you're just starting out, it's not, I highly don't recommend that you buy these things, mainly because I personally have benefited a lot financially from keeping these things on my do not buy list. And these are things that are not bad in and of themselves, and I don't want to judge anybody or say that, you know, you're making dumb financial decisions if you buy any of these things. This is just my recommended advice based on the sole fact that I benefited a lot from avoiding these things early on. So let's go through the list. It's not an absorbently long list. It's only about 3 things so far. First, number 1, as some of you may be able to guess, is a brand new car. Now, I've seen so many young people, 18 to 25, my age, what they do is they get a decent job, and they get a decent credit line, and they somehow get approved for a brand new car. And this ties them down with very large payments. About $500 a month, I'd say, is average. Let's say $400 to $500. But let's picture this. You're a young 18-year-old kid trying to save money for tuition, university. You might have to go into debt for that. And you're just starting out, and you have a job. Say you got an okay job, but it's not all that great. You're hustling, you're working super hard. And maybe you're working 2 jobs, a full-time job and a part-time job. Most of that paycheck, a lot of that paycheck, especially in today's economy, is going to be taken away from you by having to make payments on that new car. And basically that's money that you're not going to get to spend on other things like tuition, investments, retirement funds, any sort of passion project that you want to do that requires money. It might not be easy for you to do now, because you don't have as much money because you decided to go into like a 5-year commitment to pay $400 to $500 a month, not even including insurance. And I see so many people, especially young guys, like get really screwed over by this, especially the ones if they drive recklessly, they have a bad record. Like, I know some guys are paying like $400 a month for insurance. And to imagine going into debt to buy like a nice new a Supra or a Beamer or a Mitsubishi Lancaster, like, yikes. Like, there goes all your hobby money or your new business money or your startup money. You're gonna have to ask other people for money now. And so basically, I just don't recommend it. You're severely limiting yourself. And I think anyone who has bought a new car in a young age will probably tell you that it is quite a burden. And so what I would recommend is simply just go to Kijiji or you buy a used car. Not from a used car dealer, because they will try to rip you off. Buy from a person, an individual, but make sure it's safetied beforehand. So buy a reliable brand, so do a bunch of research, make sure that the particular year, make, and model has good reviews and hasn't broken down a lot, because you don't want to spend a lot of money on making payments and stuff like that, especially to repair the thing. And make sure it's safetied. Yeah, you may be able to buy a car for very, very cheap, but if it's not safetied, there might be some small minor issue that could run you up like $1,000. Say you need new tires and a catalytic converter, that's $1,000 right there. That's what happened to me. Now, eventually, I still ended up getting a car for a great price. I only paid like $3,000 for mine. But yeah, so just beware. You always want to buy a used car that is safety. It may cost you an extra $1,000. That might be an extra price. But I do definitely think it's worth it. That way, you don't have to take it to the mechanic and risk them finding some awkward flaws that's going to run you like an extra $1,000. So always try to buy a car safety if you can. Moving on to part number 2. The second thing that you shouldn't buy with your money at a young age, if you want to be rich in life, is a university education. Now, specifically a university education that is not right for you. I know some people are going to give me flack for this, but hey, I am not saying that you shouldn't go to university. What I am saying is that everyone needs to get an education and learn as much as possible for the rest of your life. Some people, university is the perfect choice, but there's a lot of us that it's not the perfect choice. And a lot of us are going there because we feel pressured, or we think that that's the only option for us. That just isn't true. If you're a self-starter, if you have entrepreneurial tendencies, there's a very real possibility that university isn't right for you. And so I would say this really comes down to a self-awareness situation. I didn't have a lot of self-awareness when I originally signed up to go to college, so I figured engineering would be great for me. It wasn't. I hate engineering and I never want to do it again. And so that's 15 grand spent on something that I never want to do again, and something that I'm not going to do with the rest of my life. And that's 15 grand that I could have put towards a startup or an investment or traveling. You know, there are a lot of different things that you can do to educate yourself. What's important is that you take the time to learn about yourself and figure out what it is you actually like, and then go hard on that. If that's university, fine, do that. But don't do it just because you feel pressured to, or because other people are telling you that that's what you should do, or that's the only option for you. It isn't. There are many, many options out there. For example, like, why don't you just go teach English in a different country like South Korea or Japan? They're hiring people all the time. I know people who have done that. You can do that. You don't think you're going to learn a lot? Absolutely you will. You'll learn so much having an experience like that. Even just traveling to another culture and learning about their culture will be a great learning experience. Some of you need to just get a boring 9-to-5 job stocking shelves at Walmart to learn about yourself and figure out what you like. You know, honestly, it was really, really beneficial to me, not gonna lie, to have to just stock shelves all night at Walmart. You know, the thoughts that I would have and the things that I would have to go through, and it really opened my eyes, and it was a great experience because it was a stepping stone for me to become more self-aware and learning more about who I was. Some of you, that's what you need to do. You just need to get a regular job, get full-time, work overtime, and work as hard as you can, and bank that money so that when you do discover something that you're passionate about, something that you think is valuable and you want to put work into, then you have money to put in the work, or you have money for rent and you become independent. That's an incredibly empowering experience. So then you move on from there. It's not the same for everybody, and I just encourage you, be self-aware before you make any sort of large commitments, such as university. Item number 3 that I see so many people wasting their money on at a young age is luxury brand items. Again, money is a tool, guys. It's a tool for you to use to engage in life and to make things that are awesome and meaningful to you, to get tuition for something that means a lot to you, to travel to a place that's important to you. You know, it's a tool, and luxury items are not tools. They don't do anything for you. They don't make you any money. They don't enhance your life, except, maybe making people think that you're rich, or making people think that you're cool. But what we all know, the truth is that you're just putting on a mask and you're poor because of it. Some of you are filthy seeking rich already, like you started a Shopify store. Hey, at that point, it doesn't matter. Buy all the Gucci belts you want. I really don't care. But if you're an 18-year-old kid out of high school and you have a part-time job, no car, and no rent yet, and you're saving up for Gucci belts instead of investments, tuition, like, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time and your hard-earned money. You're wasting the money that you got, and you're wasting the time you're spending at the job to get that money. So please, do yourself a favor and shop at thrift stores. Shop at thrift stores. You can find lots of cool stuff at a thrift store. And yeah, don't let other people's opinions of you make you feel insecure and drive you to buy dumb stuff that doesn't even make you any money or bring any sort of meaning to your life. You know, one of the things I would recommend, just shop at Old Navy. They're medium priced. They're a little bit more pricey than other places, but they last a long time. They last like 3 years. So 14 bucks for a t-shirt may seem steep to you. It does to me. But after 3 years, I'd say it's worth it. The shirt lasts me a long time and it still looks good. So yeah, I think that is my ramble for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you want, you could drop me a subscription on YouTube. I would really, really appreciate it. If you're getting any sort of value out of this content, be sure to check me out on social media and at John McElvey. And thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. You guys have an awesome day.